Joining us now is Michael Ferraro, whose new book is Circus Catch. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. That's great to be here.
Before you give us an overview on the book, let's establish your bona fides or bona fides. I never know what that is. What's your CV, baby? How are you involved in sports?
Well, like I like to tell people when it comes to that, Dennis, I have gotten paid to come up with nicknames for Shaquille O'Neal. I've gotten paid to collaborate on fiery motivational speeches with Michael Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
And best of all, I've gotten paid to write sports rants for Dennis Miller.
Which did you write for me? I'm not even hip.
We did that. We did that fun show on Versus.
Oh, right, on Versus. I'm sorry, baby. I was
Yeah.
barely there, man. I'm sorry about that. But God, I got a game show right at the same time, and I was just overburdened with work. But I do remember the stuff everybody handed in was great. But sorry, man, I had to do a complete Bob Hope there. And
No worries. You were like Deion Sanders. You were flying from one game to another, you know?
There's a good sports joke right there. I met you through, you know Bobby Oshak then, right?
Bobby Oshak and Eddie Feldman. Yeah, all those great guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now it's old home week, my friend. Who's your teams in your life? Are you an LA guy or what's your teams?
Well, I'm an East Coast guy like you. I came from Philadelphia a long time ago, so I still, the Eagles. That Eagles practice Sunday. Why did they televise the Eagles practice against the Packers? Right?
That was rough, man. The Sanchez didn't know what hit him, but you can't really lay it on him. It was a team. Listen, when Aaron's in that mode, you might as well just phone it in, man. You're not going to beat.
It was a clinic. I had three Packer buddies over my house too, so it was all the more painful. But yeah, and last night I was at the Clippers game, so I've been out here for almost 20 years. So that's the one. I had to switch over to the Clippers because I love basketball, and I couldn't be a Lakers fan coming from Philadelphia.
God, I used to go back to the Eagles because I loved Earl Groh and Tommy Woodashek and Timmy Brown. Those were my backs.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Steelers suck so bad that I actually dug the backfield over there. And I think the great Gary Ballman came over to Philadelphia and played out much of his career with the Steelers. Number 85, what a set of hands that was. All right, let's talk Circus Catch now. Tell me about the book.
Yes, sir. Well, I think it's hopefully a funny football novel for our troubled times. As it happens, I wrote it about a pro football player whose outrageous actions throw the whole league and the world into turmoil. So I guess it's not very timely.
What does he do? Not celebrate a touchdown?
Not only that, he, get this, he denies that he scored a touchdown. The protagonist of my story is a guy that's like, T.O. times ocho cinco times 10.
Right.
His name is BWAC, and it's a parallel universe. He plays for the Cleveland Browns. I'll let you figure out who that's supposed to represent.
I think in their lost decade, that's what the team's actual fans actually called them, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe you're right. I karmically drew that from them. So
Brevard BWAC Waxon, and
Yes.
he's given credit for the catch of the century, and you complete it.
Yeah. It's a tip drill, and he's at the bottom of the pile. And, this guy's ego is so supersized, he literally has his own personal 24/7 sideline reporter. He hired a kid out of Syracuse to be his media assassin, And but BWAC gets up, and he knows in his heart that he did not catch the ball.
Wow.
He breaks the turf.
Wow.
And so I'm throwing a giant monkey wrench into the whole sporting culture here, Dennis.
Mike, I'm telling you, I love this. The catch is the MacGuffin. I love that it trips off all these things because I watch that too, and I often think, when I watch Franco, I always try to read his face, and it's Sphinx-like, Mona Lisa-like. I can never read it when they ask him if he caught it or not. So this kid actually comes out. Is it a play? Did that commercial influence you, where the kid in the basketball huddle says, "Coach, I touched the ball"? Or where did you get this spark? Because I love this idea.
Thanks very much. Yeah, no, actually, it's been in the works for a long time. About 7, 8, 9 years ago, when I worked on Michael Irvin's reality show, and I cooked it up just before that because it just occurred to me, like, you see guys that you admire, and they're your heroes when you're a kid, and you see.
Where'd it go, baby?
I caught it.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second. I think Goodell thought you were getting too close to the nub. So repeat that last sentence, my friend.
That's right. Belichick has the tape. So I was just speculating that I've coached rec leagues, and I love sports. I've done some sports writing on the side in addition to the fun TV stuff I've done. And it occurred to me, what if a player really just fessed up? like I don't know why it struck me, but you see an outfielder trap a ball and he holds it up like he caught it, and he knows he didn't catch it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's so. I just wanted to see what happened, and I made my guy. I didn't make my guy like the choir boy. I made him be this self-aggrandizing player. So I thought that would just screw it up even further because people love to hate him as it is.
Well, without screwing the pooch on the story, can you give me any tidbits on what the ripple out is from his any sort of more general things? What's the ripple effect when he says, honest to God, I did not catch this? And we're talking to Mike Ferraro. And, I just thought we'd have a nice seasonal talk about sports, but I'm telling you, this is a Dan Jenkins-esque idea here. His book, Circus Catch. Once again, a wide receiver, Brevard B. Waxon, sort of a Randy Moss, self-aggrandizing type, makes a catch under a bunch of guys and does not catch it, knows he doesn't catch it, and cops to it, and then the book unfolds. So what's the initial ripple effect of it?
Well, the very initial ripple effect is he tells the ref. He literally turns to the ref, says, I didn't get it, take it off the board. Ref looks at him and says, concussion protocol, go see the trainer. This has never happened before.
Right.
So, and as you know, and I was talking to Christian, your producer, I know the delays and the replays kind of get to you and slow down the pace of the game. So in this case, the league is going nuts. They're going haywire. They don't have a clean angle. So the ripple effect.
This sounds great. The first 20 pages of the book are the review. That's so hip, man. I love that. Mikey, before we get back to the book, I just have to ask you because it fits right here. I'm watching 50% of the football I used to watch. I didn't watch, God, it was the Steelers last night I didn't watch. And yet the ratings are way up. People love the game as it's currently constituted. I find it lacking, and a lot of it is due to all this replay and stuff, which seems like minutia to me. They seem to be wanting to get it perfect, and all I wanted to do is be sort of a show like the Ice Capades. But I get the feeling that somewhere along the line they could literally paint themselves into a corner where they would feel in an effort to get it right they should call a penalty on every play, and I think, does that serve anybody? It's entertainment. Are you amazed the ratings are up, or do you understand it?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think you're right. It's going to turn into Tron eventually. They're going to put a microchip in the ball and chip all the players.
That's not why I watch. I mean, all the plays now that I see on the 100 greatest players of all time, the Hall of Fame plays, are penalties.
Right.
And they play those games back to back where they'll have Rich Eisen hosting the newscast about the football league, and then they'll show Dick Night Train Lane at number 8 on our all-time greatest players, and then you realize he'd be in prison right now if he played today under Goodell.
Sure, and Chuck Bednarik, my Philly guy from way back.
Yeah, it's really weird that. But like I said, I am definitely the outlier here because the league's never been more popular. Now, how was Irvin when you worked with him? Did he have some BWAC in him, or was that younger in his life? I know he always showed up on game day. Troy always told me nobody worked harder than Michael. And but good soul. What I don't know Michael Irvin that well. What do you make?
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I'm from Philly, so I took the job because you take jobs in this business, and I love sports and I love football, but I was like, the Cowboys and Michael Irvin. I was in Dallas.
Philly's where they booed him when he almost got killed.
Exactly right. Yeah, I mean that's not all of us, but yeah, they did. There was some.
Or they applauded when he almost got killed.
They did. Yeah, I think they'll report some batteries were thrown while he was carried off too. I don't know if that's true. But I waited a week before I told Mike that I was from Philly, and he just laughed and grabbed my shoulder. He's like, "That's all right, man." Dennis, like you said, like Troy Aikman said, he came to play. Like he was an executive producer on that show. That show meant a lot to him, and he would call me 1 to 2 in the morning because we were right. Like I said, we were writing script together, and
he wanted to get it right.
He was trying to fire up his guys. And incidentally, by the way, if you do follow the league, this little kid Andrew Hawkins, the receiver on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
he came out of Michael's show.
Right.
I'm going to write a piece about how we were like one of the greatest reality shows that never was. It only did one season and nobody saw it. Fourth and Long.
No, but the yield on it was great, right? It's like it's like Elizabeth Hasselbeck coming off of Survivor. Hawkins coming off the Irvin show. We're talking to Mike Ferraro, and he's got a new book out. I'm ordering it for myself. I'm Christmas present myself because I love this premise. Circus catch. You heard it. Cat makes a catch, knows it's not a catch. I don't want to know too much about it then because it looks like it can go a million places. And not only could I enjoy the ride, just as the story, but I think I'll find catharsis in it in some way. You can follow Mikey on Twitter at Ferraro Vision, Ferraro Vision. What about can we flip it over to another sport for a second?
Absolutely, whatever you want, Dennis.
Giancarlo Stanton. Listen, the kid's got a sweet game. That's the gross national product of Ecuador for the next 13 years. How do you give... Now, in baseball, too, he'll see all of it, right? It's not like football. He'll see all of that money.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. Football's where the players union, they should see it because, they're putting their lives on the line. Well, I guess Giancarlo took one off the face in August, right?
Yeah.
He's a great player, but
at least he's 25. I mean, they gave Pujols $250, and he was 32 when he got it. That's just suicidal.
And Joe Mauer got about 180 million, and you haven't heard from the Twins since then either.
Let's flip it over to hoops for a second. We're talking to Mike Ferraro, general man around town on sports, but I'd have to say football might be his bailiwick since he's chosen to write Circus Catch, a great fictional book, but it sounds like a fun, sort of real-life fiction book, what would happen if this happened. Hate to see Kobe, the quintessential warrior, and I've had my ups and downs with Kobe over the years, but boy, you talk about Irvin. My man came to play every night, a complete freak of, moving himself forward. Hate to see him going out with this squad, huh? It breaks the heart.
Yeah, it's a sad story indeed, and there's no good resolution to this, is there? I mean, he can't be traded anywhere, can he?
I don't know. That's what I kept thinking. Is somebody pick up a gunslinger for the playoffs?
But where do you see him fitting, Dennis? Like what makes sense for Kobe?
I don't know, but if that cat in Cleveland wants to bring him in with Braun for the playoffs, I guarantee I'll get a season to watch that, man. I won't miss a game.
If he does that, then he's grubbing for a ring, and I think Jordan comes out of retirement and goes and plays with the Spurs.
Then the game is afoot, Watson. Well, listen, man, you got a good edge on mine. I can't wait to read Circus Catch. Say hi to Bobby O if you talk to him. Once again, folks, Mike Ferraro. You can follow him on Twitter at Ferraro Vision in the book. Nice Christmas present, Circus Catch. Thank you for your time, Mikey.
Thank you, Dennis. Really appreciate it.
Chat at you down the road, baby.